Welcome to my channel. Hello, J. Clark. Please like, subscribe, share. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to comment and subscribe. Hey there. How are you doing there today? Okay. Excuse me. I thought it was important to get back on some of the details on missing, bringing education. That's where we're back at doing again. Please remember child abuse awareness. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Start off. Sorry. Something's going at the bottom of the page where there's a link. www.missingkids.org, the issues /autism. In Matthew 18, verse 6, but whoso shall fear one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Matthew 18, verse 10. Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. It's in the Colossians 3:21. A lot of people say the Christian way is just to not talk about it, just to show love. This Christian way right here, it says itself in the Bible. Isaiah 1:17. Learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause of the fatherless. Plead the case of the widow. Today's Christianity, they try to teach you just forgive and forget. They want you to be silent. But no, if we are to do what God wants us to do, it's learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause of the fatherless. Plead the case of the widow. We go by Jesus' example. And Jesus would get mad a lot of times when he saw. And Christ loved kids. Proverbs 28, verse 5. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. It is so good to see y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming. Missing and exploited children, the issues, autism, and wandering. That's going to be the first issue we'll talk about, is autism and wandering. So without further ado, I'm going to present. Share the screen. Yeah. Hope you're doing well today, Bucket List. Good to see you. So this is at missingkids.org, the issues autism. They've got a wonderful thing where education, our work and stuff. But right now, we're going over. I am doing a little bit better, thank you. I had to take a good break after yesterday. It's really difficult going over personal stories. No, no, overview. According to data published by the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of children with autism spectrum, and they abbreviate this ASD, go missing from their environment, with a substantial number at risk for bodily harm or drowning. Children on the autism spectrum may seek out small or enclosed spaces, head towards water, or places of special interest to them, or they may try to escape overwhelming stimuli such as sights, sounds, surroundings, or activities of others. Hey Jackie, good to see you too. Thanks for coming. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has free resources and training to help. Let me get that off. To help support caregivers, first responders, and search teams to help mitigate missing. Get back over here. Incidents for children on the autism spectrum. Okay, here's the risk factors. Children on the autism spectrum may exhibit behavioral characteristics that threaten their safety, such as they are attracted to bodies of water, roadways, highways, trains, fire trucks, or traffic signals. Being non-speaking, non-verbal, or unable to respond to searchers when their name is called. That's like Joe Clyde Daniels. He could not talk. The parents are in jail. The daddy is in jail for his murder, but he's getting a new case, so we'll find out what goes on with that. Um, but I think about that little boy every day. His body's never been found either. Experiencing sensory stimuli overload and bolting from their environment. Well, thank you so much, Jackie. It was tough, very hard to do. Yeah, prayers for the missing children. Amen to y'all. Amen to that. They get heightened risk for exploitation because of their disability. You see that? The numbers are here. In 2021, 286 children on the autism spectrum were reported missing to NCMEC. 67% were recovered within 1 week. And we all know and hear that Sebastian Rogers, they said he was autistic or had qualities of autism. Our latest 10-year analysis indicates a 98% recovery rate for children on the autism spectrum from NCMEC is engaged, when it's engaged, sorry. Drowning deaths are a major concern for children on the autism spectrum. Our 10-year analysis showed that accidental deaths, 84% were drowning. What NCMEC is doing about it, they're analyzing the data to better understand the issues. Okay, I went ahead and I downloaded this PDF. Like y'all could go to where that link that I got scrolling at the bottom of the page. Y'all could go there and y'all could download this booklet right here. And see, NBC compiles incidents of missing children on the autism spectrum who are reported to the center. This data informs our programming and helps us increase public awareness about the endangerments for these children. Read or download the latest report. I'll get back to that in a few minutes, okay? But you go further down the page at that same link that's scrolling right here. Vulnerable children are easy access to the group. You are right, 100%. This right here, providing checklists, search protocols, and sensory-friendly resources. So NCMEC has resources to assist law enforcement, rescue services, and other community members in hosting sensory-friendly events to foster positive relationships and understanding in order to better support children on the autism spectrum. Anyone that's got a child, I would recommend you downloaded this for your children as well. Additionally, NCMEC provides guidance on implementing sound practices when handling missing child cases involving children on the autism spectrum. There's a PDF where it says Understanding Children on the Autism Spectrum, a guide for first responders. Search protocols and questionnaire for first responders. Supporting children on the autism spectrum tips for caregivers. How to host a sensory-friendly first responder event. NetSmart symbol sticks. Considered locative technology in the disability community, balancing autonomy safety. Children on the autism spectrum, 911 telecommunicator and dispatcher checklist. That is a must have. It's right here. Children. Understanding children on the autism spectrum, a guide for first responders. Tips for caregivers supporting children on the autism spectrum. Providing training and outreach to caregivers, law enforcement, and community stakeholders. Resources for caregivers of children on the autism spectrum. You can register for a webinar. How local law enforcement can build an autism outreach and awareness program. How to search for and protect children on the autism spectrum, law enforcement only. Utilizing enhanced missing child alerts. Providing peer support. NCMEC has resources that can help victims and families feel less alone and get the mental health and peer support that's often needed when a child is missing. But here's click here if you would like to request training around this issue for your community or law enforcement organization. Here's recommended programs, which is Autism, Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, Alzheimer's, and Dementia Outreach Unit. Crisis Intervention Teams, Safe Return Program. Okay, this Autism, Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, IDD, Alzheimer's, and Dementia Outreach Unit. Is this model community outreach program began in 2005. Partly in response to the growing number of police calls for service involving missing residents who had autism, IDD, Alzheimer's, and dementia. This program has continued to develop and today provides a total approach to issues that these residents and police face through education, outreach, follow-up, empowerment, and response. I wondered how much that the officers are trained in Tennessee. Crisis Intervention Teams. An Addison, Illinois Police Department. In 2017, the Addison Police Department created its Crisis Intervention Team, where select officers receive training and education on ways to ensure informed, positive, and safe interactions between law enforcement and children on the autism spectrum and other communities. The Safe Return program, which is in San Bernardino, California, is a confidential public safety program designed to assist law enforcement agencies during contacts with members of the communities who have disabilities such as autism spectrum disorder or other developmental or intellectual disabilities. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department allows officers to match registered data with lost individuals to reconnect them with their loved ones. There's for caregivers and community stakeholders, key information for 911. There's the model script for it right there. National Autism Association. The NAA hosts useful information and downloadable content for families such as Meet the Police, a tool to help enhance the quality of interactions between individuals on the autism spectrum and members of law enforcement. Similarly, the Big Red Safety Box is a toolkit donated to families as a way to educate, raise awareness, and provide simple tools that may assist them in preventing or responding to wandering-related emergencies. So I think parents need to get this Big Red Safety Box, as it says. Provide simple tools that may assist them in preventing or responding to watering-related emergencies. See that? I think that's a necessity. Ring's mission is to help make neighborhoods safer. NCMEC missing child posters are featured directly on the Neighbors app for Ring to reach millions of engaged community members who can help bring more children home. Click here to read about how Ring's Neighbors app can help when children of the autism spectrum go missing. They need to be watching their cameras. They need to get the word out. Look on their videos. Make sure they didn't see somebody passing. Safety products like Alert Me, bands, and ID cards can help keep your child safer by providing first responders and others with awareness that your child is on the autism spectrum. Alert Me bands and ID cards. Wow. Uh, yes, that's another good one. Sports safety and inclusive programs. The Y and the American Red Cross provide swim lessons to children and families. This is essential for families to consider in order to ensure water safety and prevent drowning, particularly for families with children on the autism spectrum. Growth Through Opportunity, GTO Cadets, is a 16-week training program pairing individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities with first responders, GTO cadets with IDD, such as autism spectrum disorder, learns a job and life skills from local law enforcement agencies, and in turn, first responders gain a better understanding on how to enhance positive encounters with these children and mitigate negative outcomes. There's different videos. There's a video here. So without further ado, I will go ahead and play that video. So let me close my mouth.
You probably know someone with autism. But you might not know that half of children with autism wander away from safe places, including homes or schools, in your neighborhood. Many head straight to water or into traffic with fatal consequences. If this were your child, would you want someone to get involved and help? Parents of children with autism do. If you ever see a child walking alone, remember the 3 S's. Stop to help, seek assistance from police, stay until they arrive. Get involved and help bring a child with autism home safely. To learn more, visit missingkids.com/aware. You probably know someone with autism. But you
Okay, can y'all hear me now? So from here, this is where I downloaded the PDF on what we're about to go over. As I said, they got all these downloaded PDFs to go to the link that's below. The first responders, please search protocols and questionnaire for first responders. Supporting children on the autism spectrum, tips for caregivers. How to host a sensory-friendly first responder event. All that considered locative technology in the disability community, balancing autonomy, safety. There's 911 telecommunicator dispatcher checklist. So now, Yes, it is. I really like this site right now. Thank you so much. Now let me go up here to this one that I had downloaded. Here's the PDF. There's an introduction, the key facts and demographics. Let me go faster. Bigger right here. Autism spectrum disorder, hereinafter, autism spectrum, is a developmental disorder that affects communication and behavior. By all means, please don't tell people that they're mentally ill if they have this disorder. This is something that they are born with, they cannot help. Children on the autism spectrum may have difficulty with communication and interaction with other people, restricted interest or repetitive behaviors, or have symptoms that impact their ability to function properly in school, work, or other areas of their life. This is an analysis of data regarding children on the autism spectrum who have been reported missing to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Because these children are described by colors in a variety of ways, search methodology, yes, involved querying for children with autism or Asperger's listed as a medical condition, a mental health condition, or special needs condition. Children who were described as possibly being on the autism spectrum were not included in this analysis. Previous studies analyzed data from 2007 through 2016. Therefore, this analysis overlaps the years 2011 through 2016. But a note that this only affects the ones that have gone missing with the cases, okay? Key facts and demographics. Between January 1st, 2011 and December 31st, 2020, there were 1,516 children on the autism spectrum who were reported missing to NCMEC. These children were involved in 1,986 different missing incidences. The age of missing children ranged from 1 to 20. The most common age was 14 for non-family abductions. Wow, the 14 were non-family abductions. Y'all hear that? Stranger, possibly. But it's non-family abduction. 18 for missing young adults. 14 and 15 for lost, injured, or otherwise missing. 3 for family abductions, and 16 for endangered runaways. The female children, the average age was 14. The average age for male children was 13. The most common age for the missing was 16. The most common age, 17. Case type, 67% were noted as a endangered runaway. You know, a lot of times you might say just run away, but you got to realize they might not have ran away. Like they got that problem of getting lost, wandering around. 17% were lost, injured, or otherwise missing. 17%, like I said. Family abduction, 10%. Missing young adult, 5%. But put in mind, this is 2021. Non-family abduction was 1%. Corner. Most common characteristics of missing children on the autism spectrum. The male, 75%. Age, 16, 19%, or 17, 19%. White. Case type, ERU. Case status, 98% were recovered. Missing month, June, 11%. Missing location, home, 45%. Recovery location, 26% was recovered back at home or outdoor area. Recovery method, police investigation. Recovered in the same state where they went missing, 87%. Age and race, ethnicity characteristics. The average age of all missing children on the autism spectrum was 13 years old. The average age for American Indian children was 15. For Asian, biracial, Black, and Hispanic children, 13. For Pacific Islander children, 10. For white children, 14. So the most that went missing was from the American Indian children. There was no major race or ethnicity differences based on sex. The race, 60%, biracial, 8%, Black, 21%, Hispanic, 9%, Asian, 1%, unknown, American Indian, Pacific Islander. Almost half of 45% of missing children on the autism spectrum were white males, followed by 15% who were white females and 15% who were black males. So, looking at these graphics right here, age and sex, female is the over here, so it's got the female part, it's the brown, the male part, it's the blue. Children on the autism spectrum were most likely to go missing during summer. And that's a month to walk around, I guess, right? Missing month across all the years. Yeah, this see, mostly in June. See, this is June right here. January, February, March, April, May. And it seems like the next month would have been July, that it was high, but not as high. The most common missing location was a child's home, 45%, followed by other unknown, 22%, and the child's foster group home, 18%. The most common reported action prior to going missing was being at home, 67%. The top 3 states from where children were reported missing were California, 11%, Florida, 9%, and Texas, 7%. One-third, 34% of children were reported missing to NCMEC the same day they went missing. 32% were reported to NCMEC the day after? Y'all, the day after? What's the problem with that? And 90% were reported to NCMEC within a week. Within a week? Oh boy. Knowing the dangers of them getting lost, the dangers they hold on to themselves. I had a friend that I dated a couple times, and we just met a couple times. We never were boyfriend girlfriend, but he had an autistic child, and he couldn't hardly ever leave that child at home because he kept setting the house on fire intentionally. He was drawn to fire. So he had to stay around his son for that purpose to make sure that the house didn't burn down while he went somewhere. 14% of children on the autism spectrum have multiple missing incidents. Average 3, most common 2. The largest number of missing incidents for one child is 19. The missing duration, it shows right here, is just 1 day. That was 2021. I wonder how much it'll be today, since there's been so many more missing kids a lot later lately. Recovered children. Most cases, 98% have been resolved. Excuse my grammar. Just over 3/4, 75% of children were recovered within 1 week of going missing. Over half, 60% of children will recover within 2 days, and 22% recovered the same day. The longest missing duration of a recovered child was 1,087 days, or just short of 3 years. Wow. Hope it wasn't funny. Most 87% recovered children were recovered in the same state from where they went missing. The most common recovery locations were the child's home, 26%, or an outdoor area, 26%. Children on the spectrum need supervision at all times. Exactly. Another friend that I spent the night with, and I felt so sorry for her. Those kids never slept. She had two teenage children on the spectrum. It seems like they were always doing things, but she taught them to be creative, do artwork, that kind of stuff. So they didn't leave the home like others. Instead, they used it to be put into something good, like art. Most common recovery methods: police investigation, 46%, child return home unowned, 17%, family friend turned child in, 14%. Thanks for everyone that's got an outlook that is looking out for these children, like neighbors or whomever, when they do step outside the home. Hopefully, more people do help the parents. Actively missing children. As of February 2020, 23 children on the autism spectrum remained actively missing. Most, 39%, have been missing for less than a year, followed by 35% who have been missing for 1 to 2 years. The longest one child has remained actively missing is nearly 10 years. Almost three-quarters, 70%, of actively missing children on the autism spectrum have been missing for over 6 months. This means they are classified by NCMEC as long-term missing children. For actively missing children, 17% were reported missing to NCMEC one day after they went missing, and 48% were reported to NCMEC within 1 week. You know, the sooner you report a child missing, the sooner the possibility of recovery. The longest amount of time it took for a child to be reported missing to NCMEC after going missing was 928 days, or 2.5 years. What? Wow. Yeah, Tennessee had to make a law on one kid because they did not report her missing for a while. They got a law on her name because of that. Nearly three-quarters, 74%, of actively missing children went missing in the most recent 2 years, 2019 and 2020. Race of actively missing children: white was 48%, Hispanic 26%, black 17%, American Indian 4%, biracial 4%. Case type of actively missing children: family abduction 43%, endangered runaway 35%, lost, injured, or otherwise missing 17%, missing young adult 14%. Missing year of actively missing children. Okay, like in 2011 it was 4%, right? 2013 was 4%. 2014 4%. 2016 4%. 2018 9%. Look how big it jumped. For 2018 to 2019, 35%. 2020, 39%. Just how big would these numbers be in 2024? Wow. Because we hear of a lot of these children have autism that's missing. A lot of them, not all. Children missing from care. A child who goes missing from care, CMFC, is required to be reported missing by state care to law enforcement and NCMEC in compliance with the Preventing Sex Trafficking and Strengthening Families Act of 2014. Yes, they do. Nearly one third, 28% of children on the autism spectrum went missing from care. These children were involved in 765 different missing incidences. A majority, 81%, were endangered runaways, followed by 9% that were family abductions. The longest amount of time it took for a child missing care to be reported missing to NCMEC after going missing was 206 days, or nearly 7 months. Over one third, 39% of CMFC on the autism spectrum were recovered by police investigation. Children were primarily recovered at a foster group home, 25%, an outdoor location, 24%, or at home, 22%. Okay, so 30% of actively missing children on the autism spectrum are missing from care. Duration between missing date and when child was reported to NCMEC. 28% were reported missing to NCMEC the same day they were missing. 32% were reported missing to NCMEC one day after they went missing, and 91% were reported missing within a week. Why did it take so long? Why did you wait more than a week? Well, the same week, sorry. But why did you wait a couple of days? Why? Why? Deceased children. There were 64% children recovered deceased. Thoughts and prayers, man. Prayers for the ones that's missing right now on the autism spectrum. The average missing duration was 23 days, and the longest missing duration was 412 days. Of the children who died accidentally, 13% were recovered the same day. 60% were recovered within one day, and 89% were recovered within 1 week. Drowning deaths accounted for 63% of all the children recovered deceased, and 76% of deceased children were recovered in a body of water. Of accidental deaths, 84% were drownings. Oh man, I'm gonna start crying. I'm sorry. Missing duration. 11% were recovered the same day. 52% recovered within one day. 81% were recovered within 1 week. Here's a missing duration of CMFC. It's got a very close to 20. Let's see, get it bigger right there. So this is the same day. Okay. So the next one day is right there. And now I could go down. Manner of death, undetermined and undisclosed, 19%. Suicide, 2%. Homicide, 9%. Accident, 70%. Causes of accidental deaths, asphyxiation, suffocation, 2%. Vehicular, like I ran over, 4%. Exposure to weather, 7%. Undetermined and undisclosed, 2%. Drowning, 84%. Children recovered deceased were more likely to go missing from home, 61%, and were recovered in an outdoor location, 75% by police investigation, 80%. Children recovered deceased were primarily reported missing to NCMEC either the same day, was 42%, or one day, 39%, after they went missing. The longest time between the missing date and the NCMEC intake date was 104 days, or 3 months. Missing duration, cause of death, and manner of death. Okay, when it goes like over here, asphyxiation, suffocation goes right here, that 40, and the blue right here says blunt force trauma. And see that color blue right here. This color blue, like right here. Drowning. Look at all these drownings right here, see? Exposure to weather. Gunshot. That one was, listen over here. Vehicular. It's the orange. Right here. Right here. And undetermined. This color right here. This is like the 1 day. That's 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. 1 to 2 weeks. 1 to 3 months. 3 to 6 months. 6 months to a year. The one that had a gunshot wound was 1+ year. Somebody murdered him or her. Gunshot wound. Have mercy, Lord. And that's where it goes like that. Where's this purple? Let me get it scrolled down again. Here's a purple. The manner of death. Accident. It's all this purple right here. Same day. Homicide. Right here. There. Right there. 1 to 3 months. 6 months to a year. That one. That one, that's 2 days. That one was a day. Suicide, 2 to 4 weeks. Undetermined. It's this one right here. That color right there. What has changed? Yes, prayers for tragic when this happens. You're right. Findings have largely remained the same with some variations in percentages. Category. Most common sex was 74% male. But in mind, this was the previous report, 2007 and 2016, and this report was 2011 and 2020, okay? So the most common sex right here, 74% male. Right here, 75% male. Most common race, 59% white, 60% white. Average age, 14. Average age, 13. Most common case type, 61% endangered runaway, 67% endangered runaway. Most common missing location, child's home, 60% back then, 45% child's home. Most common recovery method, police investigation, police investigation. Children missing from caregivers, from 15% right here, which rose to 28%. Recovered in 1 day went from 48% to 50%. Recovered in 1 week, just barely went up. CMFC recovered in 1 week, 54% right here, 65% right there. So that's an improvement. Multiple missing incidences, 17%, 14%. Children recovered deceased. Look at that, y'all. 72% accident, 70% accident. This list is not exhaustive of all changes. Definitions, okay? We need to make sure we know these definitions, okay? Active cases are categorized as active when a child is still missing and law enforcement has an active police report on the child's disappearance or a Hague application is on file with NC, MEC, or the U.S. State Department. Resolved as cases are categorized as resolved when any of the following criteria are met. The child returns home to the parents or legal guardian. The child will remain in the custody of law enforcement, or the child is in contact with a parent or legal guardian who will not be returned to home, and the parent's legal guardian and law enforcement are satisfied with the situation. A child's case can only be labeled recovered deceased if the body has been found and they have been positively identified. Here's the case types. Endangered runaway, or ERU, any missing child between 11 and 17 years of age who is missing of his or her own accord and whose whereabouts are unknown to his or her parents or legal guardian. Family abduction, or FA. A family abduction is defined as a taken, retention, or concealment of a child younger than 18 years of age by a parent, other person with a family relationship to the child, or his or her agent in violation of the custody rights, including visitation rights of a parent or legal guardian. Lost, injured, or otherwise missing is defined as any missing child younger than the age of 18 where there are insufficient facts to determine the cause of the child's disappearance, or any child 10 years of age or younger who is missing on his or her own accord. Missing young adult, or MYA, a missing person 18 years of age or older, but younger than the age of 21. This category is derived from Suzanne's Law, a provision in the Protect Act of 2003 codified, and there's the number that is codified at, which extends to missing young adults the same reporting and law enforcement response requirements already provided for children younger than 18 years of age. Non-family abduction, or NFA. A non-family abduction is defined as the unauthorized taking, retention, luring, confinement, or concealment of a child younger than the age of 18 by someone other than a family member. Okay, so I could close that down, close that down. So if we want to go right here, we want to see the search protocol questionnaire for first responders. Let's see how that looks, right? The purpose of this document is to provide the key information, guidance, question to ask of families and caregivers in the event a child on the autism spectrum goes missing. And it says, in addition to these search protocols and questions, we encourage law enforcement and other first responders to consult the guide as well as free resources from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. There is a phone number here. I think I need to have that going in. Copy. I think I will go ahead and put this in the StreamYard. Go to banners, just scrolling at the bottom. See that? Free assistance with searching for a missing child called NCMEC. Y'all might want this number down in case. I hope y'all don't have a missing child, but y'all would have the number on hand. Okay, where did it go? Okay, alright. So then, the initial recommendations noted below are offered to help guide law enforcement and other first responders in the initial response and search for the child. Conduct search of residence, care facility, and curtilage. Identify and preserve the point the child was last seen. Collect a recent photo of the child, DNA, tooth, hairbrush, and scent articles such as uncontaminated shoes, clothing, or sheets with proper permission. Identify hazards in the area where the child was last seen and dispatch personnel to those locations to search for the child, paying special attention to any bodies of water and specific locations of interest to the child, such as the favorite places. It is recommended search personnel stay at the bodies of water regardless of whether the child is there, as the child may make their way there eventually. You hear that? They end up having the child, having the officer stay right there at the water in case the child shows up. Secure identified hazardous areas near where the child was last seen to prevent the child from entering those areas. Establish roadblocks and containment measures of the child's known routes to prevent them from traveling further away from the place last seen, using all appropriate means such as a road, bike, and air patrol. Use ground sweep teams, an off-road bicycle and or horse-mounted patrols and air support observation along travel corridors, routes to favorite places, previous locations visited, and any other areas of interest. Use of trained search dogs at the onset of the response could help ensure successful tracking. Consider using a mass notification system to help alert the local community via a rapid response neighborhood alert program using high-tech phone systems. Determine if an endangered missing advisory has been issued. Determine if any search measures that cause noise, such as aircraft, canines, ATVs, or any other resources used to assist in searches, may frighten a child or cause them to retreat further and plan accordingly. But the teacher of Joe Clyde Daniels said that they had um, firefighters there and helicopters and stuff before Joe Clyde Daniels went missing. They had him at the school, so he was aware and knew that if he needed help, if he, to go to an opening so that he could go, be rescued. He knew that a couple of days prior, if I'm not mistaken. Search and rescue measures. The search measures noted below may help in safety locating a missing child on the autism spectrum. The deployment of personnel trained in search and rescue protocols is highly recommended to assist in the investigation to safely locate the missing child. Law enforcement should provide information immediately to search and rescue personnel about the child's behavioral and cognitive functioning and any information about the interests or other characteristics that may assist in searching for the child. Initiate search and rescue efforts with an emphasis on bodies of water, high hazard areas, travel corridors, routes to other places, previous locations visited, and any other areas of interest suggested by those who know the child. Attempt to attract the child by using their favorite things, such as playing a favorite song or driving a favorite type of vehicle into the search area. Audio tape parent or caregiver's voice and play over loudspeaker. I know that when they were looking for Sebastian, they were playing one of his favorite songs loudly to try to draw him out. Use night search technologies if appropriate, such as projected lights and patterns, especially spinning patterns as other types of favorite visuals to attract the missing child. Be aware, here's it says, be aware, let me make it bigger right here so y'all can see it. Be aware that night searches could be hazardous to the child if the terrain includes dangers such as cliffs, drop-offs, mine shafts, or bodies of water. Attempting to draw a child into these areas can lead to tragic consequences, and these are not identified by searchers as secured prior to using attraction devices. I know back behind our house in the country, back where me and my husband lived, there was a lot of property, and he told us that one of his dogs fell into a well that was back off the property. So, had my kids not known about it, they could have easily fell into that because it was not covered up because the dog ended up falling into it. Establish an incident command system that includes a search and rescue manager. Use search and rescue personnel accustomed to the existing geography, whether urban, suburban, or rural. Document all resources used in search and what areas they were searching. Maintain current maps of search areas to determine the child's probability of detection and additional resources to deploy. Consider using track traps on favorite trails to track the child's movements at night. I think that's pretty interesting. What do y'all think? So when we go back over this, it's really a huge amount of stuff, right? So then the reason why I said that about getting help over here, if you back over here, see, and see what the next thing is, the issues. The next one is about child sex trafficking, and there's family abductions, help ID me, infant abduction, long-term missing, missing from care, non-family abductions and attempts, online enticements, other types of missing, endangered runaways, sextortion, child sexual abuse materials. So which one do you think I need to go over next? You think I need to go over what's next is in line is child sex trafficking? To stay in pull and do that in order? Or would y'all want to hear about something else next? I'll let y'all have an opinion there. I kind of think that, the sextortion thing, you know what I mean? Because all these kids that are being extorted online, you know? So, but And there's even child sexual abuse materials. See what is this overview of all that. Let's see by the numbers. Yeah, that's going to be. And it's even got success stories in there. Alrighty then, in that one. But it's very minimal what it shows here. Preventing through education, which there are a couple resources. I want to show y'all a couple of the resources that they have here at, okay, they have NetSmarts, Healthy Relationships, new video, middle for middle and high schoolers. See, it teaches them the free resources, download presentations, tip sheets, lesson plans, and other safety resources. So this is where they actually could get, they have to watch out for their internet safety. So maybe that's what I need to go over more. Like one of the programs, or um, maybe we could go into next, like one of the programs, like the Net Smarts or the Kid Smarts. It says take it down, remove your nudes from the internet. Exactly. Then there's free resources, peer education and mentoring kit. I really think that I think this would really help a lot of people. What y'all think? Sounds great. The next lesson we'll go over net smarts. Okay. That page isn't much about the sextortion. So we'll go over the sextortion and then we'll go over this net smarts, you know. So it would coincide with each other. So I hope to see y'all tomorrow, and this is what I intend on doing. Good idea. Yeah. So I think we need to get it out there because all these people trying to extort our children. And then I'm trying to show ways to try to help that as well where the kids won't be exploited in the ways that they have been. Much love and God bless y'all. And look for y'all tomorrow to come. And thanks for all the love and support that y'all give. God bless y'all.